Here are the 4 weight loss hacks that nobody talks about, but they are crazy effective and will help you lose more weight. Let's go straight into it. What's up everyone, this is Coach Amir from 7figurebody.com, and in today's video, I'm gonna share with you the 2 hacks that basically have to do with burning more calories and 2 that have to do with eating less. Because as we know, in order to lose weight, meaning body fat, you can only do 2 things, either consume fewer calories or expand more, or of course do both, right? But I'm gonna give you 2 hacks for each. So number 1, let's first focus on how do you actually expand more calories. Number 1 is use a standing desk. Why? Simply because, for example, now I'm sitting to record this video, but usually when I'm working, I have a standing desk and I'm standing there. Every single minute you stand burns 1 extra calories compared to sitting. So that means, let's say if you work 8 hours a day and 4 of those you stand, that's gonna be 250 calories that you burn by basically doing nothing. You're just doing work, but you're standing instead of sitting. So it adds up. All of these small things add up for a lot, because remember, 250 calories, it's not insignificant, especially when we didn't technically use more time or pretty much do anything to get that, okay? Number 2 is simple walking. Yes, you've probably heard a million times, you gotta do cardio, you gotta run bike, you gotta do lifting weights and all these official exercises, which is awesome. But generally speaking, walking is the most natural activity for humans to do, and therefore walking is absolutely healthy, amazing, and heavily underrated as a very, very good thing that you can do for your health. So is it gonna burn a lot of calories? No, relatively inefficient when it comes to time and how many calories you burn. But given that, especially when the weather is nice, you can have calls, you can listen to an audiobook, you can do pretty much, anything that you would do in a house other than like watching, something on your phone or TV. Anything that you listen to or talk to somebody, you can probably do a lot of those while walking. Generally speaking, 1,000 steps is gonna be 50 calories burned, and that's about half a mile. It's gonna be like, 10 minutes of walking. So to get, for example, 10,000 steps or 5 miles, it's gonna be a good 80, 90-minute walk. But if you break that down throughout the day, which is generally better, it's gonna actually burn 500 calories, which is a huge amount, and it's gonna help you lose a pound of body fat just from that. So those are the 2 things you can do to burn more calories: standing desk and walking. Now let's focus on 2 things that actually get you to consume fewer calories, which is, the other way to actually lose weight. So number 1 is eat more potatoes and watermelon. Now you're gonna be like, oh my God, how is that possible? These are starches and carbs. The whole world is telling me that carbs are bad. Please remember, carbs are not bad. Carbs do not make you fat and do not prevent weight loss. The one thing that does that is overeating. So if you're in a surplus of calories, regardless of what you eat, you're gaining weight. If you're in a deficit of calories, regardless of what you eat, you're gonna be losing weight. So the number 1 thing we wanna focus on to lose weight is eat foods that are more satiating. They keep you full and keep your appetite and hunger under control. So the foods that are bigger in volume and or take a long time to digest are the best ones to keep you full for longer, so you eat less and end up in a deficit and lose weight. Number 1 thing there is boiled and cooled potato. Now, why potato? Well, it's because the starch in it actually turns into something called resistant starch, which simply, when you boil it and cool it, it simply means it turns into the type of starch that takes a very, very long time to digest. That on its own controls your blood sugar level and keeps you your appetite and hunger under control, so you don't eat as much. Watermelon does the same. It's a very large amount of food volume, which has these, receptors that respond to pressure in your stomach. So it shows that your amount of food you actually ate is huge, even though the overall calories are low. Does watermelon have sugar? Yes, like most fruits do, but it's a very, very small amount of sugar diluted in. What's watermelon? 99+% water, as the name suggests, okay? So eat more potatoes, more watermelon, guaranteed to lose weight. And last and final thing, which is a simple thing you can do, is drink a glass or 2 of water before you eat. Why? Yes, it's probably not gonna be as, tasty, because when you're hungry, you're like, I really wanna eat the food and feel the taste. But if you drink a glass or 2, just a glass of water before each meal, Here's what happens. These same receptors in your brain, in your stomach, that send a signal to your brain that says, hey, you've eaten food, they actually take quite a while, 10 to 15 minutes, maybe more, to actually send a signal to your brain that said, hey, you've had this much, it's enough. So if you drink water, even though water has obviously no calories, these receptors are going to be like activated, and then something's going to your brain saying, hey, you're not as hungry anymore. So, and it actually fills your stomach physically with this water, which has no calories. So you're going to actually physically be able to eat less. Otherwise, you know, you're going to be like, oh, I can't even breathe. So guaranteed, if you drink a glass of water before each meal, you will absolutely eat less during that meal, which is going to end up overall lower calorie intake at the end of the day. Absolutely guarantee you, try any of these four, or ideally all four of these, you know, things that basically nobody talks about, because everybody's like, yeah, you know, cut carbs, cut fats, do hours of exercise. And sure, some of these do work, at least short term. Most of them don't work long term. But these four things that I told you, nobody talks about, and are absolutely guaranteed to help you lose weight easier and probably with less work than most things you've tried before. Give it a shot. Let me know how it works. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you guys next time. Cheers.